Everyone, welcome back to the VoskCoin YouTube channel. I'm Vosk. I'm here with Brynn. And Brynn, tell us about yourself. Bam, on the spot.
How's it going, guys? I'm sure you may have remembered me from like a couple of spots. Vosk and I have discussed having, me kind of represent the team a little bit on the videos that we've been putting out recently.
Brynn's a key video editor here at VoskCoin. He's done a lot of designs. He's really been grinding behind the scenes for not days, weeks, months, but years here at VoskCoin. And so, sorry, Brynn, not to interject, but I feel like you skipped the first part, and you need to be like, hey, I'm Brynn. I've been here. I do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, to be honest, like in December this year, so December 23 will be my third year working with you. And to think that like back in 2021 and 2020, we, became acquainted through a Google Doc that that you'd posted for an editor to assist you, because back then, like you were still doing everything yourself. Like you were literally grinding, hands down the hardest I've ever seen any other human being grind, to be honest. Even just coming on, I was like, damn, this guy needs help. Like, if it's not me, at the very least, someone else.
Yeah, no, I mean those are rough days. It's funny, like everybody, dreams like that 4 hour workday bullshit. But I was living the 12 hour workday, and I mean like 12 rough hours where my workday was I wake up, I research, I do all my admin, then I kind of throw myself into the content creation, the recording, everything on that front, the production, and then I go into the post production where I'm in the editing chamber, and then I turn around and whip up a crappy thumbnail, write a video description, and push it to the tube, and trying to produce one video a day by myself and still have quality, and it was just absolutely overwhelming. What's really funny about Brynn is he emailed me 3 times. I was so overwhelmed and underwater that I put out a video editor application to our subscribers of the VoskCoin community, and I remember like I got like at least 50 applications in the first round. It's actually crazy how many editor applications we got right out of our community. Ended up being several hundred, um, which is really cool. And it's funny, what made Brynn stand out is he emailed me 3 times. I never replied. I mean, I'm just terrible. I was just not in my email. I was just doing the daily grind, and I was like, "Geez, all right, let me talk. Let me reply to this guy," because on a serious note, like when you're so overwhelmed, you look at it and you forget, you get caught in something else. And that third ping, I was like, wow, I'm getting crushed today. Like, let me slow down, see if he's the right fit. We can expand the team. And it's I really like it as like a racing concept because I really like hitting the track and things like that. I'm a car guy. I'm fortunate to also be an instructor, and in instructor schools and talking to much more seasoned instructors than me, and it's a general racing concept too, but it's called, you need to slow down to speed up. And it's really cool that it can be applied to so many things, your process, work, racing, whatever. But you need to slow down and work on your fundamentals, work on, in racing your line, work on your technique. In business, you need to slow down and work on your process, expand your team, figure out what can you take off of your shoulders so you can focus on other things. I mean, it's just the art of growing and scaling. And so thanks to Brynn, being the first official VoskCoin hire, which is very cool. I slowed down then just to, eventually speed up. And in the peak of the crypto bull run, we were putting out 3 videos a day with our team. I threw Brynn into the fire. He was editing a video every single day for a while, and so I was but that gave me my editing time back, and I wasn't just off having fun. I was just taking that and trying to make better videos. Now I had more research time, I had more production time. So how can I translate that into just better content here on YouTube and our other platforms?
Yeah, no, I think even like you mentioned, boss, that slow down to speed up eventually, I think is something that even now we're experiencing as the team and as the VoskCoin brand is, maybe not necessarily even slowing down, but we're really focusing and honing in on creating fundamentals, creating a base layer that we can operate from, that we can then begin to now start scaling and ramping up at a pace that we've never been able to do before. Because just thinking back to those bull run days, that meme of the the aging Captain America comes to mind, like just how rapid everything was changing. Like in every week there was a new kind of focus that we needed to be able to direct ourselves towards to remain as relevant as possible, to capitalize on the absolutely incredible influx of like viewers and just content that YouTube was pushing. And so I think the algorithm really like carried us and forced us, like didn't give us any opportunity to. But now I think we have that opportunity, and it's starting to look really, really exciting for what's to come, like what we can really do now that we've got the moment to work with.
If we think about like the VoskCoin YouTube side of things and everything that VoskCoin tried, like as a whole, as a unit, tried and experimented with, especially in the last crypto bull cycle, I mean, it's interesting because like as a whole with VoskCoin went outside of its wheelhouse. It expanded. It really tried to open up the kind of content we offer, the guides, tutorials. You want to be in DeFi? Okay, like we've got resources for that. NFTs were booming. We've got resources for that, and it's interesting and difficult. It's a challenging equation to mesh like what I can do, what our team can handle, and what this like subscriber community wants, and then also what I kind of consider like the passerbys. Like they watch the videos, but they're not a core subscriber. They're not in the VoskCoin Discord server. They're like a lower tier supporter or the content consumer. Whatever you really want to put it. And some people would think that at a quick glance, maybe we were just jumping around. Maybe we were just trying to capitalize on the hype. But I don't think of it that way. I don't view it that way. We were getting pushed those directions by our people, and VoskCoin is nothing without its community. And if the community wants, a decentralized finance guide from me, like I want to answer that call, right? If they want to learn how to get into NFTs, from my point of view, like I want to help with that. So it's not as simple as just hopping around from hot topics. In a way, a lot of the VoskCoin subscribers want that. They want, we aim to be a valuable, trustworthy resource, right? And if you can value us, then you want your valued resource to be relevant and applicable to the things that you want to, learn about or, watch right now.
No, 100% agree. And I think it's what really has made me also feel really excited for our future, knowing that the community and the subscribers, those who kind of create the opportunity for us, are always at the forefront of even like your mind. Having almost like a glimpse behind the curtain for many that may not have ever seen you behind the scenes or worked with you or anything. Like Vosk is hands down like serving, like everything he thinks about when it comes to the content, when it comes to ideas for the next series or the next expansion, it's always like, okay, cool, but what would the subscribers say? We're doing edits and we're cutting up videos and we're adding things in, and feedback will come and Vosk will take a look, and his mind is always at the point of like the audience. And I think that is a key point of being a successful content creator within the creator, they're calling it creator economy nowadays. And I think it's something that you have definitely hands down achieved and understood at a core level, and we're just like trying to catch up to you and assist you at that in our own way as a team. We have quite a few members on the crew right now, and we all kind of specialize in editing, but I think there are also facets that each of us have that you also embrace, you allow us to grow in and work on, but always coming back to it, always with the mind of like, okay, cool, but what can we do to better serve the community, to better improve the community that we already have and grow it to more and more people, to change more lives. Because I think even looking back at why I started watching you, because like you said, I was quite literally just a random ass subscriber that dropped you 3 emails. The last one, I remember very clearly, stated that I was willing to quit my job. I was working a dead end Amazon job, and I was like, I'm sick of it, and I'm literally willing to quit the next day if you will give me a shot. And, even back then, your heart and soul of the content was always to entertain and to, like even now, our quote is like, learn more to earn more. It was always to help others attain a lifestyle that is not traditionally possible when you follow the rules that society gives you. And I think it's something that even crypto as a whole now brings out in the world, is like this going off the beaten path to find and create your own identity, your own future, both financially and technologically. And it's something that is super exciting, but also really nice to know that as a team we have someone at the forefront who works so hard to understand it and embrace it at the same time.
So I think what some people don't know about me is I kind of feel like I've been a content creator my whole life before that was a term or anything. I cringe at the term influencer.
Oh,
I've never really set out to influence. I think that's like I don't want to go on a rant or a tangent. That's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I've ever wanted to do. Even I remember I built my first website in middle school, and I was into gaming. I've always been into gaming, and let me try to whip up some game reviews. It never went anywhere. I did a couple other things over the years. I remember, I would like try to have fun, like recording some cool videos and taking pictures in high school. I never really uploaded them. I never really went anywhere with it. I got more serious about content creation about 10 years ago. And I think, you have to figure out what are you passionate about? And then how can you also mold that to something that people care about? And it's not like being fake or anything like that. It's like, okay, like I like this, I'm doing this, but how can like I make this applicable to other people so that like they would find it more interesting or be engaged and involved? And so I've been like really fixated on building out the hard drive mining shed, chia farming. Everyone right now they'd be like, "Oh, he's gonna show the evergreen link." Well, it's in the video description below because I heard you guys. But seriously, I've been like really fixated on that, and that's something I wanted to do. It's fun. I'm really enjoying it. It's fresh. But when I think about the content, I'm like, okay, well, I like this because of this, but like, how does this become more applicable to other people? Like, what are the lessons I'm learning that like I can try to illustrate? And like, why is like this hard drive mining shed different than a mining shed? And why am I even doing it in a shed? And what do these things even do? And what's the difference between a hard drive versus, a Bitcoin miner, an ASIC miner, stuff like that? And it's a lot of times I just try to like take a step back, a deep breath, and slow down, and remember that like not everyone else is obsessed and lives, straight crypto every day. So how can it's not exactly applicable, but just to try to stick with the theme, right? Slowing down to speed up, right? How can I slow this content down and take it, and get back to like, the bare bones, the basic steps, so that we aren't missing like key pieces. You think of a blockchain, we need every chain for people to understand. If they don't understand this piece, then they're definitely not going to understand what's going on down here. And just trying to make sure that nobody falls off the wagon, that everyone is like understanding, what I'm doing, how it works, and why, without getting redundant and boring, talking and doing the same thing video over video. I'm not perfect at all by any means, but that's kind of like my thought process with all of this stuff. And to elaborate a little bit more on VoskCoin, so a lot of people don't know this, but VoskCoin has 7 full-time team members. So there's me, and this is funny, okay? Um, sorry, Alexa, but Brynn's the second full-time hire, or the first full-time hire, the second full-time team member. Alexa, Miss Vosk has been incredible and involved behind the scenes for years, but she's also worked a full-time job in tandem with helping me with all my craziness and even just dealing up with all my we call it my crazy crypto journey, and all that. Obviously, we all work for Tails. She's technically number 8 or 0, or of course number 1. But we have an editing team. We have Vincent, we've got Joel, we've got Chavi, right? And recently Matt has come on to help us with the marketing side, which previously Alexa was kind of handling all of that. But Alexa, so basically, if you look at our team right now, we've got 4 people on the video editing, creative, design side, right? And that's Brynn, Vincent, Chavi, Joel. Then there's me. I don't know what the hell I do. I do a lot of stuff. I do a lot of nothing, right? Uh,
Everything.
I do. Unfortunately, I've ended up in the dangerous spot of like the jack of all trades sort of position. I don't know if you call it that. Maybe it's the entrepreneur, you got to wear every hat. Alexa's ended up more in like the jack of all trades, where she's trying to fill in all the gaps with the team everywhere. And you have to put more and more effort into the marketing side, the sponsorship side, if you want to pursue, the like full-time content creation. Um,
Yeah.
Especially if the market conditions are bad. I mean, it's a lot of calls, it's a lot of proposals, a lot of things you waste. I shouldn't say waste. You spend a lot of time, and then it's just like, nah, never mind. And it's a lot of work finding sponsors, that are in line with like our content. I don't want to bring you guys an ad about freaking Barbie dolls or whatever. You don't want to see that. It's annoying. How can we find a decent sponsor, especially in the crypto space? It's like freaking trustworthy, right? Because it's very stressful. It's easy to be critical, but it's difficult. And some people are like, well, don't you make enough with this or that or whatever? Well, to be honest, like the VoskCoin mining side of VoskCoin is very tight with equipment costs and our electricity rate. It's not all that profitable. It's not that great of a business in a bear market. I'm building a mining farm for a bull market, to be blunt. Um, YouTube ad revenue wouldn't even pay 20% of our personnel cost. So like that's not the cash cow that people think it is. That goes right in line with the bull market. The bull market comes, there's way more people interested, more people are watching, you earn more with YouTube ads. So really in a bear market on like the VoskCoin YouTube side of things and content creation, it's persevere, it's survive.
Yeah.
We're just surviving. And it's a good opportunity, a good time to slow down, speed up, work on our process, to work on what we're doing, try to refine the content, move the pieces around, and just have people doing what they excel at. I'm really fortunate to have an incredible team. Settle down, Brynn. Get a big head. Just kidding.
No.
But it's finding what people like are interested in, because there's things like I'm interested in and not interested in, and things I find more fulfillment in. And how do we balance all of that with what the core VoskCoin subscribers want? And how do we attain new subscribers and expand our community? I mean, it's a game of strategy. I really kind of break everything down to the strategy aspects. I know off camera, Brynn and I have talked a bunch about strategy and rooted in strategy games. But being I used to play Warcraft 3 every day for hours for decades, really. I just have a strategic mind. It's easier for me to think about it that way. And
I'm still waiting to play a game and to beat your ass. Like it's coming. Like you better be prepped, man. I know I will lose. Hands down, I'm not even stressed, but I still think that'll be really fun. I get
back in my prime at 8 p.m. In the hundreds.
Even as you're mentioning now, boss, like the explanation of the team and the kind of core focus of the content always coming back to a specific place. I really like the example you used of the blockchain. As the blockchain progresses, you need to ensure that each block and each link is secured so that it doesn't crumble. If one falls out of place, then the whole thing can break. And so it makes me think about, even as you've mentioned, we have come from a place of one man, literally a single human being, running multiple videos a week, grinding out, starting in a little Amish shed in his backyard, to currently 7 employees, a farm with like it's 4 acres, right? 4 acres or hectares. I don't know. I lose track of the sizing differences we have.
The area that we're farming is about 20 acres. So it's about a 20-acre farm, and then we have some land beyond that.
Wow. Okay. I was way off. 20. So now we've made it to this point where it's a 20-acre lot, multiple mining deployments, multiple, fronts of content that we've covered and will cover. So, this progression that we've seen over 3 very, very quick years, it's gone really quickly. Where do you see VoskCoin? I'll use crypto-centric terms in 2 years, so the next bull, and maybe 5 years, the next bear. What do you think it's going to look like for us, for both VoskCoin and potentially how crypto affects everything as well?
So for me, I really want to continue just building. Uh, and that doesn't just mean another shed, uh, but it could. But I want to, and I've said this from the beginning, is I wanted to build like, if you're familiar with Rob Deerdeck and the Fantasy Factory, I think that was like a really fun direction in branding. I want to build my own fantasy factory for crypto. I want to build the mining farm, as a profitable, successful mining farm, but also, to be blunt, just spend more money on more deployments. And I can show you guys, here's how you can do your own air cooled deployment with a shed, right?
Hmm.
Here's a plug and play Bitcoin mining container, and the hurdles you will still have with a plug and play Bitcoin mining container. Here's an immersion setup. Okay, this month we're focused on liquid cooling. Oh, let's build a hard drive mining shed that functions like a mini data center, basically, and we're deploying HVAC. We're cooling it with air conditioning, which you generally aren't doing with Bitcoin mining, right? And that's just like on the mining side. I want to build out solar panels and look at energy production, and maybe go on a big tangent for a while of just what is solar, how to DIY solar, the benefits of solar. How can you not only utilize solar for yourself, but transition to being an energy creator and energy provider, where you just like say buy a field and you put a bunch of solar panels out there, sync it up with the electric company, and they pay you for what you've done. I mean, it's literally solar mining. We're going to start mining the sun. You laugh, but subscribe. You'll see. If there's anything I do, I do what I say. It's just eventually. So that's like that side of things. With VoskCoin, more overarching as a whole, dead set on 1 million subscribers, gold play button, lifelong dream. Want to get there. Not going to stop till I do or die. So we'll see. On top of that, I just want to create better content that's, I look at I think of it kind of like the 2 E's. I want it to be more entertaining, and I want it to be more educational. It's a really simple way to break it down, but if you're entertained and you're being educated, that's as good as content gets. That's my
Yep.
like gripe with a lot of shorts content. I know there'll be some people defending it, whatever. But a lot of shorts content is just it's so entertainment based. It's so shallow. It's it's unfulfilling. Shorts are the fast food of content. And that's why people sit there and they'll doom scroll, and then they'll be like, I don't know why I feel so unhappy and unfulfilled. I mean, all you're doing is looking at other people who probably aren't half as happy as they act like they are, doing a bunch of things, running around with a bunch of things that they don't own, but they did buy on a bunch of credit and debt. And you start to feel like, you fell behind, you're unhappy, you don't have shit. And it's just not really like that. Anyway, I could talk about that all day, but there's that, right? And so I'm whatever. I don't care if it maybe is going to stunt VoskCoin's growth. Is we're going to make some shorts content and try to right the wrongs of like shallow shorts, if you will, to a degree. But there's only so much you can do in a minute. I know you can do a little bit longer content than that too, but I really want to get back towards longer content, very detailed, and I've always enjoyed just making tutorials and guides. Like, how can I make some content that's not just about today? So many guys find so much success, and even crypto, of daily crypto news live streams. When we do some news content, I mean, it is important, it is interesting, but the news is the news of today, and it's barely interesting tomorrow. And who gives a shit what last month's news was? And for
Nobody.
me, that's not fulfilling to make, 365 news videos. I'd rather make 36 video guides that can hopefully live on and be useful for years. Uh, so, that's kind of like on the video side. And then we're working on some things behind the scenes, basically resources, data aggregators, things that you can use, that you can utilize. You think of whatever crypto tools, crypto sites that you use, and may help you find data, make decisions, whatever. I want VoskCoin to start building more resources, things that can also like live beyond me. Just things that are more than just like me behind the camera, but like go here, it can do this, and that's useful, right? So I mean, I think that's fulfilling for me, to take VoskCoin beyond just being a YouTube channel. That's really the next step. Is how do we evolve VoskCoin beyond just a video YouTube channel? And I've touched on it briefly, and a little Easter egg in here is the end game has always been in the name. Okay, and that's all I got to say. When we get there, when the time's right, well, it'll be an incredible time.
100% agree, 100%. But like you said, my lips are also sealed. I I don't
That
want
better
to.
be, because you got an NDA, Brynn.
As well as I don't want to breach any contracts or stuff like that. But yeah, no, I think that's a really cool outlook on the way that VoskCoin can influence. Uh, forgive me for using that term. I'm sorry, but how we can better influence the crypto community, as well as you called them earlier, like just the sidewalk, the common sidewalk person who may not be in crypto, who may not even have heard about crypto mining before, but by some stroke of luck, that's really something that I find so fulfilling working with you, is the value that just one picture, one well organized thumbnail, like how valuable that one image can be in potentially changing someone's life. Like if I had not watched the specific video that I did back when in 2019 when I came into crypto, I would never have gone down the rabbit hole, eventually finding out about this thing called mining. And because you were the biggest channel, naturally gravitated towards you. I would never have spoken or thought, maybe I can use my editing skills. So it all started with, strangely, like, just this one curated image. And for many people, I'm sure it's the same, watching a video of yours, they get that excitement, that edge of like, I can do something different, and they go out and buy a miner or try a DeFi protocol, or they open an account with something, and they begin interacting with MetaMask and trying to hunt airdrops. And there's so much that you can bring through just a single image, and I think that really changes a lot of the perspective on how valuable content can be. And like you said, it's not about influencing, it's not about the swag and the kind of authority that comes with being this person of influence, but it's knowing and being able to sleep at night, that knowing you've created, even just in our small part of the internet, our small community, in the grand scheme of things, you've changed lives, you've helped others attain something maybe they wouldn't have attained if they'd never come across you.
So Brynn, when I started VoskCoin, I honestly just wanted to make a couple video guides, have some fun. So I see value in the guide, right? So like I wanted to make some guides of just what I was doing. I never set out to be like the next big YouTube channel, but I knew that what I was doing was, it was fun, it was crazy, it was intense, the water was deep. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I was spending a lot of money, more money than I ever had. And I was like, well, I'm going to record this, and this at a minimum will be interesting for me to look back on in a few years.
Yeah.
And that ended up being very true in a lot of ways. But that's kind of like how I fell into this, without the whole origin story. We've talked about that before. I won't even go down that road. because I get, it's emotional, I guess. It's cool what you said about like you see like one thumbnail and like it takes you down this whole road, and I think that's part of like with like how like I just wanted to record myself doing this, like to illustrate like I don't have a formal education in this. I did not have a mentor. I barely even had a buddy, to get into it with. A couple buddies I tried to drag in with me, were naysayers and kind of, dragged me down or quit or, held me back, or I waited around on them to do certain things and then they left me hanging. There's no like, there's no exciting, glorious, gilded, easy path. And I think that that's one thing I really wanted to like just try to translate in the content is like I didn't know anybody. I had no help. I had no financing. I had no easy button. I had no background in this. None of that. All I have is common sense and tenacity and perseverance. You can pick those up any day that you want to. And I think that maybe that's why some people do like the content, is because I don't act like, I'm some, incredible figure. I'm just a dude who works hard and I'm willing to lay it all on the line. And, some people they're like, oh, well, he's really great. He used to be a math professor, right? So he obviously should be like, really good at this. They never say that about me because I wasn't that, right? But
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I think that's like, well, why can't you get into it? And this is what kills me. I could do a huge rant about this. So I'm like, why don't you try that? Why don't you get into that? Well, I don't know anything about that. Wow. Nobody knows shit about anything until they do something.
Exactly.
So congratulations. Like, I didn't know anything either. And it just kills me. Because like I've done so many things that I never knew shit about. Right? And it's just, what a lame excuse. If you don't want to do it, just say you don't want to do it. If it's not interesting, just say it's not interesting. But if your excuse is, I don't know anything about it, well, nobody knows anything about anything until they know something. And I think, statements like that sound ridiculous, but they're actually really funny and awkwardly true.
Yeah, definitely.
So, with the last thing I'll say is on this topic is just, I've really always tried to illustrate that there's nothing special about me. Why can't you do it? And a lot of people think, if you want to pursue a career or even part-time or side hustle in crypto, like, well, I don't have a technical background. I'm not a developer. Dude, every single project needs a marketing guy. Every single project in this era needs social media manager. Everybody needs some articles, some blogging, some writing. I mean, everybody needs, not everybody, but at scale, everybody needs, HR. They need an accountant. Everything ends up needing, typical roles and positions. You don't need to be a developer.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a huge misconception. I think actually one of the weakest pieces of most cryptocurrencies is actually, ironically, their marketing side. Yeah. There's some projects out there with some incredible tech, some incredible dev teams, but nobody knows about them. And a lot of times they go belly up because nobody knows about them. They don't get the funding. They don't last. They don't get the users. It doesn't matter if you have the best thing. Yeah. You can have the third best thing, but if you get all the users, you're going to win. Most likely. I mean, it seems like stupid simple, but like that's really what it kind of boils down to. And so that's just a big gripe I have, because if I would succumb to those, just I don't know, their fallacy or whatever, but just like, I don't know anything about that, so I'm not going to do it, then I would never be here, and I would never have achieved really any level of success. My 9-to-5 wasn't going to get me anywhere close to where I wanted to go. And it wasn't even giving me work-life balance, or that much money. I wasn't happy. I was angry. It's, you just got to get out there and get after it. It's bottom line.
Yeah. Funny thing is, you replaced your 9-to-5 with a, 8 to 12 kind of.
With a 9-to-9.
9 to 9, just
That's
never ending grind.
it's pretty funny. I love the entrepreneur quotes where like, yeah, I quit my 9 to 5 so I could work all day every day, or whatever way they word it. I quit my 40-hour work week so I could do 80.
Yeah, that's quite, I think quite literally, we probably do pull off some 80-hour work weeks when things go quite intense. So it's really hectic to think that, although we work so hard, I think this makes me think about a quote that has been said many times about how if you're enjoying and you're, like you said, actually, if you're passionate about what you're doing, your work will seem like play to others. And I think it's something that the team really gets right on the head, is that we work extremely hard and we put in a lot of effort, but because it's enjoyable and we're passionate about it, it looks like play on the outside, but actually we're grinding harder than many people do for their 9 to 5s. But like you were saying, there's the security is not there. It's like you can't cash in on investment or anything. Like, your business is at the mercy of the market. It's like there's no, we're playing on those ropes where there's no net underneath. If you fall, that's it. And so I think it's the living on the edge that also really motivates us to work just as hard and ensure everything really goes, level up every time.
No, I mean, Bryn, that's really well said, because it's finding whatever career path you're passionate about is an incredible thing, and it's kind of in that same mindset of like, people are unhappy doing this, whatever they're on, but like, you got to shake it up, you got to change. Like, just because you've been you know doing this job for 5 years, if you're not happy with everything, then like, pursue something else. It's not fun. There's friction, there's effort, you got to put yourself out in the line, but eventually you'll get where you're supposed to go, you'll get where you want to go, hopefully. And kind of talking about passion and working long hours and things like that, I really feel that I love crypto, I love all this stuff. It's so fun, it's so engaging, there's so much to do, there's so much to learn, there's always something to do, there's always something to learn about.
Yeah.
Like, if you want a challenging like direction, like, this is definitely one of those. But just because I could do, well, I pretty much do it. I do this like all day, every day, and I love it. But at some point, even doing things you love all day, every day, is very strenuous.
Yeah.
It's very taxing. This has been a difficult journey physically. It's been difficult mentally, and unfortunately, and I'm a double-edged sword. I think of it that way, and I think our team is that way. By the nature of what we've built, and the personalities, for VoskCoin internally, is I mean, we grind. We go after it, and it's just a winner's mentality. If you're not putting out the best stuff, then why? I should say, if you're not trying to put out the best stuff consistently, why even play? That's not how I operate. I never set out to be second best. Second best, the first loser. You know,
That's a good
and
one.
I
That's
I
really
mean,
good.
but really though, it's I played sports, I did competitive gaming, whatever else. We're in the kitchen. I'm like, let's have an eating competition. I'm ridiculous, and I don't get upset about losing the eating competition, in the kitchen, but when my football team lost in the state semifinals, and we should have won, and then I know we would have beat the team that won states right after that. Devastating, right?
Mm.
But that's also why your boy came back and won states the next year. But
Oh,
um, that's a fun fact. I don't normally talk about stuff that far back, but I don't know. It's really like sports. Growing up with sports and competitive gaming, it's it really ingrains in you. You know, you win or lose. There's no in between, and I think that's a big like issue with this era of like the participation trophy era. It's okay to lose. It's not okay to lose at all. It doesn't mean you need to get down and get depressed and give up, but like, damn, you need to start training harder. You,
yeah,
you need to work harder, and most people, they don't push themselves as hard as they can. Uh, that's just facts.
straight up, yeah. But it's also really important that I think sure, like you're saying, losing isn't something you should necessarily tolerate, but at the same time, it's the mindset with which you face that failure. Because if you're going at it with that negative feedback loop of like, I'm not good enough, da da da, and it keeps going back, and this creates this echo chamber in your mind, then that failure, that negative experience has zero impact on your outcomes in the future. But if you're able to look at it and you're able to say to yourself, look, I messed up, and I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm going to rather see, what can I change? What can I improve? What did I do well but not good enough? What did I do badly that I can improve on? That's something that I've also noticed in the past few months, actually, even just growing in both my ability to handle more stress, as well as just like adulting. Like adulting is is pretty shitty. It's really tough in the modern era, and especially I'm from South Africa, so we're not a very affluent country, and there's many tribulations and things that you'll face on a day-to-day basis that might not be considered by other people. But for you just have to take it. And if you're always going to be beating yourself down, saying, oh, look at them, look at the world that they live in, it's like you're not going to be focusing on changing the world you're currently living in. And so for me, I'm always trying to be the best version of myself wherever I am, and bring out the best in others, because then no matter where you are, you can win, and you can win big. And I think that in business, it's important to have a kind of cooperative and growth mindset versus a individualistic kind of negative feedback mindset. So I've definitely learned that working with you guys and working with the team, and growing in my ability to manage my own small piece of the team and the business, I guess.
Well, so Brynn, let's build on that, right? So, I mean, like that's a good point. That's interesting, and I think like one takeaway that I have, like from what you said, another way to kind of think about it and say it is, I think way too many people focus way too much on others. Like what they're doing, honestly, probably doesn't matter. And I don't just mean like being on social media. It's like, oh, look at them. You like all this stuff. Now I'm sad. I don't have that. I even mean just like wasting your time thinking about a bunch of other people. Fuck them.
Yeah,
What are you going to do today? How are you going to make your day better? And I think it, to bring it back, it comes back to real time strategy, like, being strategic, efficiency. Okay,
yeah,
so like I look at my day, I've got this finite amount of time. What can I do in it? And how can I push myself but not overwork myself? Like where's my line? Yeah, everybody
yeah,
can do different things, whatever. How much can I work effectively and then still like have fun, still spend some time with friends and family? Um, and just making adjustments, being malleable, analyzing your data of your life and like adjusting in real time. So it's a simple concept. I honestly think it's seldom done. People
very,
get in a loop. You're talking about negative feedback loops and things like that. People just live a straight loop. They start living like an NPC, a non-player controlled character, or non-player controlled, or whatever the hell it was, non-player character. The point here being is that they just start doing the same thing every day, and they like become a zombie.
yeah.
You know that some people apparently don't have internal thoughts.
What?
Yeah, look it up. Now
That-
we're gonna start sounding like a Joe Rogan podcast. I
so when last did you do shrooms?
but so well, one, I just think that's crazy, and I won't go on a huge tangent down that line. But to kind of bring it back to feedback and revising, improving, not getting crushed, at failed products and projects and videos and things. If we look at VoskCoin, right, and we look at the YouTube side of what we do, we come up with a video, right? Whether it's something we're doing, or we go out, we set out to do this, whatever. Doesn't matter. We create a video. We do everything that we do with our process, right? We think about the overview. I don't script anything. I shoot it all on the fly, right? We edit it. We crunch data. We look at the research, make sure everything looks good. It's all nice, spiced up, and dress it up with a little bow thumbnail, write a description, try to hit some SEO. Bang, we shoot it out, and that dang video comes back at 10 out of 10, and you start to feel terrible. So YouTube's got a ranking system that they give you on the fly now. It's been like this for years, but they rank your last 10 videos. It's simply ranked on views, but views are pretty much performance, if you have organic, true, honest metrics, which is a rampant issue, especially in the crypto sector of crypto YouTube. The amount of bought subscribers and bought views and bought comments and bought thumbs up, unreal.
Yeah.
And it really waters down the good channels because they're like, oh, this guy does this, so we're going to go sponsor him. Well, that guy's fake. So see you later, whatever you sponsored him with. But anyway, another issue. The point here being with, our feedback is we push out a video and maybe it doesn't do well. We could, get upset, cry, quit, whatever. But really, we just have to take a step back and be like, where did we miss, right?
Yeah.
Was the title not interesting? Did the thumbnail suck? Why is the watch time down? We can look at the charts and we can see where people click off. Like, did we put a sponsor on it? Did they see the sponsor and be like, okay, screw this video, and they all leave? What was the topic just generally not interesting? Was it off brand? Right? I mean, there could be a video that a 3D printer puts out, like Joel and his 3D printer channel, not our Joel, different Joel. And we could do a video just like that, but maybe our people just don't really care about 3D printing. So the initial performance is probably going to be awful, but maybe it'll hit the YouTube algorithm and then get, suggested to people that are interested in that. And then maybe long-term, it'll actually be successful. That's another thing people don't think about is once you develop a community and content, the initial ranking of your stuff is going to be based on your subscribers, your existing community, which is important to cater to.
Yeah.
But it's very dangerous because you can get pigeonholed just doing the same shit over and over and over and over and over. It's stagnant. You'll struggle to grow. Your community will struggle to grow potentially. And it's just very complex, but very detailed, very many layers to this. But the bottom line is I get mad and frustrated some days, sure, a lot of days. But if we like say on the video side, we make a video and it sucks, well, we look at why it suck.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's change XYZ next time and see if it does well. There's been a few times that we've basically produced what I would consider to be essentially the same video, and maybe the data was a little bit different, like a week later update on like a mining rig or something, but the framing was totally different. Like the thumbnail, is it a device, or do we focus on how much it earns per day, or whatever. And basically the same video with different framing and kind of reordering the subject was the difference between the video getting like 5,000-10,000 views and 300,000 views. It's really weird. And you can be that close. Like, you've got the right ingredients, but you f***ed up when you were cooking. And that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But that's how close some people can be. That's how close we are sometimes. So, I mean, if anything, it's just a reminder to keep grinding and keep trying and, develop a process. It's like Disney. They have a framework for their basic storyline, and works.
Serve them all, yeah. I think that line of the VoskCoin content machine, as we call it, I think that would be really well suited to episode 2 or 3 or whatever, if this keeps going, like a deep dive into how we utilize these metrics, because at its core, like, YouTube is a metrics machine. It just pumps out metrics for you at every turn. You can see everything about everyone who interacts with your content. And one of the things that I've heard recently that really changed my perspective on YouTube as a whole is, in any sentence that you're speaking about YouTube or creating content or whatever, and you speak about the algorithm, all you have to do is replace the word algorithm with audience, and you will understand the kind of key to succeeding at putting out content. Because The algorithm is merely feeding the audience what they want to see. So if we are kind of targeting that, like you said, one video that is maybe framed in a different way, just by speaking about it in a certain light, it piques more interest, it entices more clicks, and because YouTube sees that, then it's pushing it to more people. And if you were to just give up after the first video that didn't maybe do well, then we would never have been able to achieve what we have as the VoskCoin channel. So even your resilience and your dedication to always improving, always changing, mixing, learning from feedback, I think it's something a very, very important trait that many people would do well to develop in themselves. This era of basically everything is online. Like we've never met. It's been 3 years. Maybe there's a time coming, but like everything is online. Like we are all connected only through the internet. So it's really a time to understand these things that are at play, because like you said, that doom scrolling, it's such a big scary issue that people aren't thinking about what they're consuming. Almost like you're saying, the fast food, it's just eating fast food and junk food for your mind. And I really hope that as we've endeavored to grow the channel, and as we've worked on new series, new what can I say, new avenues, I guess, of content, I really hope that it's the more healthy the more healthy content for our viewers and for our audience.
No, I mean, Brynn, I think, well, one, you made me feel bad. I feel terrible. So what's crazy is most of the VoskCoin has never met. But like, I really cannot understate that we have been so busy every day that we've kept all of our schedules so packed that it was just never feasible to hop across the ocean and meet up.
But
We
I'm
could have
like
moved things around. I'm not here to make excuses and things like that. It sucks. Team meetup absolutely happening. General VoskCoin meetup on the roadmap too, which I'm really excited about. But no dates or anything official on that front, if anyone is wondering. But it's gotten so bad that VoskCoin subscribers are having unofficial meetups without me, without the Vosk of the coin, because they're like, well, I guess Vosk is never going to come out as dang house, so well, we're all friends, so let's just hang out and be like, yeah, VoskCoin meetup, but Vosk isn't here because he's a ghost.
It's just a coin meetup.
Yeah, it's coin meetup. And I mean, that's another thing. But if you're new to the channel, and I try not to talk about it too much, but it's been so negative for so long. When we've been building the farm, we've also been building our own house and things like that, and it just kept us absolutely locked here. Our builder was absolutely trash. It was a horrible experience, very strenuous, and we had to basically assume the role of project manager ourselves, which we never had the capacity to do. So it became our fifth job. It was very frustrating, very overwhelming. A couple months ago, we finally got past that. We finally got into the house. We have a couple, punch list items left, but we're pretty much almost done with that. It's one of the most relieving things. That process has added, it's hard to tell because I gelled my hair today. Smart. But I got a lot of gray hair coming in. I mean, it was very taxing. It's just rough. It's tough. And it really became like a hard line, like in our personal lives, of like, well, we need to get the house before we can focus or do anything else, right? So it's like, we got the house, and now Lex and I are, looking at, we're engaged, right? So we're working on the wedding then, and then after the wedding, comes the typical timeline, hopeful kids and stuff like that. But I had hoped and planned and tried to build the home a couple years ago. It became a 3-year process that was supposed to be 1 year. To give you perspective, I started trying to build this house in February before COVID, right? So we're talking February 2020. It's been a long time. But anyway, I mean, that's just, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And it's a humble reminder that whatever you want and think your life timeline is going to be, it may be different. And if you get too stuck on that, you're just going to end up pissed, unhappy, unfulfilled, whatever. And you're going to start missing the opportunity to appreciate the things you do have. and the time you do have with people, and whatever else, without getting on a one of those talks. But Brynn, I want to bring us to another topic as we probably approach towards the end of this video. It's something you brought up in our internal team chat. So it's I live on Discord, which is kind of funny. So we have like our main VoskCoin Discord server, but VoskCoin operates internally with our own Discord server as well, with just our core team, whatever. And Brynn brought up the content octopus, and it's been something that we've like taken very serious. And so you can see it on screen now. Brynn, you break it down. What's the content octopus?
So essentially, like I received this, I found this graphic or this kind of idea in YouTube space from a very, very popular YouTuber, MKBHD. 15 million subscribers, a separate channel all for just his studio, just his team that he works with. And before he expanded to the level that he expanded, where he is now, he was on a podcast and he spoke about this content octopus, that the content creator becomes an octopus when it comes to their content, because you have to be able to manage so many different things, which essentially take on the form of these tentacles, as you can see. So as a content creator, you need to be the writer, you often edit, you sort out the graphics and the branding, you work on production, the actual filming of the videos, then you deal with accounting if there's you're making any money from it, then you manage your time, you manage the channel, you market the channel, and you work on sales, which is like getting sponsors, getting revenue. And as a content octopus, you stand at the center of all of these tentacles. And I think one of our goals as the VoskCoin team has been to remove as many of these kind of tentacles from you and bring them over to somebody else. So you are no longer having to really rack your brain, for lack of a better word, to like focus on each and every one of these aspects, because I think that is also an attribution towards the burnout feeling, is that there are so many facets of content creation and of this content business that if you're not in control of all of them, you can feel very out of control. And that sense of loss of control really makes you feel like you're burning out. And so if we as the team can alleviate a couple of these tentacles, and for lack of a better word, I can't really think of what to say, like facets, I guess. If we can remove some of them from you, then ultimately it gives you more time to focus on what really matters, things like production and writing, which I guess I don't want to say you don't do, but we could replace writing with maybe research. So it gives you time to focus on what really matters in terms of bringing new content out, and you're not having to focus on things like sales and the editing and the management of everything. And I think that we've done a pretty decent job at getting there, but there's still quite a way to go. I'm not sure what your what your perspective is on it, Boss.
I mean, it's a lot. It's easier said than done, even when you understand the issue we're facing. Imagine we're fighting an octopus monster boss, right? We got to take him down. We got to knock these things off. And so when you're a content creator and you're a solo op, of course the burden is on you for everything, right? You're the chief researcher, you're the chief video guy, you're the chief editor, you're the chief marketing agent, you're the chief shipping manager. Okay, I mean, you do literally everything. So trying to scale VoskCoin and really just ultimately make VoskCoin better, right? How can we make more content? How can we make better content? How can we have more unique research? All that stuff. You just can't do it all yourself. You can only do so much. And you really, the more you grind, the more you sacrifice in life. I mean, we have finite time. We're losing time with friends, family, whatever, when we're working, things like that. And you just want to be careful. If you become basically a workaholic, you got to respect the grind. Getting on the warpath. But it's not, all glory. You are sacrificing a lot every day to be on that warpath. With the octopus, again, obviously, originally I was doing all of this, and I think for me, one of the most challenging things, and I started to realize this over the years, and it really like gave just true credibility to, if you analyze the brain, we have different pieces of our brain that they do different things, and you really kind of use a piece of it, you get engaged with it, that's what's working. And when you flip from something that's so different, honestly, I find it jarring. So when I go from, like a creative flow of, say like deep video editing,
Yeah.
right? And then I turn around and I'm like on a call trying to, either, close a deal for a sponsor or something. You go to like a marketing hat, right? And then you turn around and you're like very heavily like research. You're learning. It's not just research, you're learning. How do I do this advanced cryptocurrency thing? And I need to make sure I fully understand it, because I'm going to turn around. Now we're making a video guide on it, right?
Yeah.
And then I turn around and I'm like, okay, like I need to create, like design a engaging thumbnail. A lot of content falls short with thumbnails. It sucks how critical they are. It's a very simple premise of, if you never click, you will never watch. And a lot of people are very critical of like clickbait, whatever. But I'm like, dude, if nobody ever clicks it, they will never watch it. Like the click is step one.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that I want to be misleading with anything. But when we look at thumbnail designs, sometimes it is a little bit more dramatic to incite the click. I'm not a dramatic guy, but a thumbnail may be more dramatic just because statistically it's doing better. A lot of the thumbnails that I've noticed that people complain about statistically have done phenomenal. Sometimes they are performing 2 times as good, which is crazy against our average. It's a dilemma, and I never want to be disrespectful or like rude or disregard the opinion of some subscribers, but you also have to be careful. Once you're fortunate enough to develop some sort of platform, everybody's going to be saying a lot of stuff all the time. A lot of people get caught up in all the bullshit. At the end of the day, don't forget like how you got here and how you started. Like put your head down and just do what you do.
Yeah.
I've learned the hard way, or just simply learned that over the years, there's going to be plenty of people that don't like you, that disagree with you, and you can't please everybody. And if you try to, you will lose yourself. And it's, I'm a big quote cliche guy. I think it's fun. I like them. and to bring it back to this, I think it's rooted in like gaming, and you have like characters and you click on them and they always say the same shit. It's like, oh, that's my guy, that's his line. I love when he says that one. That one's funny or cool. Yeah. Exactly. And I really like the line, if you don't stand for something, like then you'll fall for everything, right? And so like if I don't take stances and like this is who I am, this is what I believe, this is how I think things should go, whatever, then I'm like kind of worthless. I'm a wet napkin. And if you take a stance, if you take a side, well, there's another side. There's always 2 sides or more. So hello, a tribe that want to destroy me, and that's fine. Then let's go to war. I mean, that's my mindset, and it's abrasive. But that's also why I think I'm still here. It's over the years with content creation on the YouTube side, a lot of mean things are said. Some disgusting things are said. A lot of threats. Especially like against yourself. You just want to like chill and go to sleep, whatever. And there's some guy saying he's gonna come and kill you in the night. Well, like I'm always strapped, so come over, bro. But and that's how I deal with it. That's how I cope. I mean, the main reason I train with firearms is for personal safety, and my the risk factor I feel is beyond elevated due to being on a public platform. And I can just literally be talking about the things I'm doing, and then someone else may do that and it may not work well for them, and they'll be like, I'm gonna kill you. Yeah. I'm like, well, I never said to even do that. They're like, yeah, but I watched your video, that's how I learned about it. I'm like, take some accountability, man. It's, I
Yeah.
mean, it's crazy. It's a weird world we live in. We live in this like instant gratification digital era. Everybody thinks things are going to be easier, but like you watch a 15-minute video and it looks easy. And I never try to understate or overstate things, but when you do things a lot, you inherently become better at them or whatever. So it starts to look easier
Yeah.
than it is when you start. Um, and unfortunately, sometimes people, I forget the term, it's a psychology term, but people grossly sometimes overestimate their own abilities. And that is a key factor leading to just simply failure in their endeavors.
Yeah. No, I think one thing for me that I actually don't really speak much about to the team or in general is my kind of, or I don't want to say that. I know I have dropped a couple messages in the chat and you kind of get, you back me up or you kind of tell me to calm down a bit. But one thing that beyond irks me is the kind of negativity that both crypto and the online sphere face in terms of everyone having a platform. Like everyone has the ability to share their opinion, and it's something that absolutely grinds me to the point where I think the last time I read comments on our videos was years ago, because I don't want to, even though I know that the majority is good. The majority are encouraging and loving and supportive. I really struggle with the mental understanding that there is another person on the other side of that comment who thought that it would be a good thing to type out how much they hate you and you're a worthless piece of whatever. Like it gets me so confused, and I think maybe you could call me a bit of a snowflake or whatever, but it makes me really really like hurt that we
I,
are genuinely interested in helping, but
I talk to Alexa a lot about this because I force myself to read a lot of comments because like I just feel like I owe that to people. Um, but it honestly it's very damaging to my mental health. And I don't use that term lightly at all. I'm
mm,
not one of those types. And it's very grating year over year. I mean, it's such an interesting like psychology aspect. If I try to remove myself from the equation, if I'm just analyzing, I like to really try to think like out of body. Like, let me remove myself from myself and analyze myself and what the hell is going on, and try to give myself a second opinion with myself, right? I'm absolutely nuts, right? I love I think Rick and Morty is so funny, and especially when they have the Council of Ricks, like all those Ricks in his head, right? Or that one movie based on your emotions, and there's like 5 emotions in your head, and they're like all have
inside out.
meanings. Inside Out. Um, I can assure you that there's like 10 Vosks in here, right? I mean, they're crazy. And so I come out of body and I'm like, well, like that shouldn't upset you so much, right? I mean, it's like, dude, it's just like one comment. There's literally 10 people like saying like what you're doing is cool, or what you did encourage them, or like I made the difference for them to make the jump to do this, and that changed their life. I mean, I've
Yeah.
gotten so many cool, incredible messages over the years, inspiring new cryptocurrencies, businesses, career changes, them making moves that gave them financial freedom, that them, gave them time back with their family, like all these incredible things, like some really heartwarming stuff. I'm like, that is so cool that what I could do from behind a computer screen make a difference.
Yeah.
Like it is truly like I cannot understand. Like it's incredible, and it really is like a heartwarming feeling. But then you go to comment 11, and comment 11 is like, just laying into you, like you're stupid, like your accent sucks, like your beard's patchy, like you look ridiculous, like you can't even, oh, nice stutter, like what are you, an idiot? I mean, like screw you, man. Like honestly, my brain outpaces my mouth. It's a key reason to why I stutter sometimes. Like I'm a sentence ahead of like how I'm speaking, and I try to slow down my speech and my cadence because it's very easy to get amped up and start talking really fast, especially when you're making videos, or if you're like excited, or if you're starting to get nervous, or you're starting to get a little bit uncomfortable and you don't like really, fully like have rehearsed what you're going to say, especially when you're talking through guides and tutorials, or even just trying to explain what you're doing. And I've never taken a speech class or whatever. Again, I'm homegrown, but it's I read a lot of comments and like, hey, like, video was good. Like, constructive criticism is awesome. Like, hey, like, I like the video, but like, can you please slow down? I'm new to this. So like, I try to, that's like one of the reasons I try to always read the comments. I see that, I'm like, wow, I guess I really was running through that fast. Whether because like I felt it was, sometimes I feel stuff's redundant. Like we talk about it like a week ago, and now I'm like saying how to do this again in a new video the next week, but it's a different subject, right? And there's going to be new viewers on that video that didn't see last week.
Yeah.
So I do need to like take a deep breath and like slow it down. But I'm a huge ranter today. But really, to round it out, it's so crippling, like these mean comments, and like they can make you feel so insignificant and so insecure. And the way I cope with it, I personally think that when times get tough for people, you're going to boil it down to just two emotions. You're either going to go down here and you're going to be sad, or you're going to go down here and you're going to be mad. At your low, you're going to end up mad or sad, right? And mad can take all kinds of forms, and sad I view as having even more categories, like apathy, like I just feel empty. But emptiness, in my opinion, is rooted in sadness. It's not madness. When I'm feeling like overwhelmed, like furious, like rage, that's rooted in mad. And and I just eventually take these comments and I just start to get mad. I get irritable. I snap at Alexa, and then I'm like, wow, like I feel terrible. Like I snapped at you because I was mad about these things that I read over here. But like, we spent a week working on this. Like I put so much into this, and like, you're gonna tell me that like I look like an idiot because of my shirt or my hat, or like my eyebrows suck. Like, I mean, f you. I mean, that's the eyebrows I got. What do you want from me, man?
Yeah.
Like, I go wax them for you? I'll dunk you in wax, but anyway, that's how I feel with all that stuff. I guess just really to round it out, it just cannot be understated that like 10 comments will lift you up, and that 11th bad comment can put you under all of the other 10. And it's a very crippling, negative, just awful feeling. And constructive criticism is fine, feedback is fine, and if you don't like it, it's fine. But a lot of people cross this line because they're on the internet, and they're just like very like rude and insensitive, and it's even ironic how rampant it is in this snowflake era, where everyone's like, don't say this, don't say that, but like they'll still lay into you in like some of the meanest, like personal attack ways. And the last thing I'll say on this is just what I find absolutely astonishing is the fact that most of these people would never say these things to that person's face, because they would feel like a POS. Definitely. They would look like a dick. Maybe, they just wouldn't do it. And if they would, but then I'd beat their ass. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just crazy. And it's just, I think it's a huge issue with the digital era. I wish that people could say stuff like that and we could square up and like, just, all right, let's battle, me and you right now digitally, right? And we hook up to some system and we take real blows with it. I hit you. Oh, like you really felt it. I'm gonna put you down. That's how I feel. I'm ready to go. And all I'm saying is I think that'll solve a lot of problems. In a perfect world, hopefully YouTube doesn't shut us down for a great idea like this. I know I'm not here to incite violence. No one should be violent.
Disclaimer on screen right now.
Yeah. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a violence advisor. It's ridiculous.
Man, but I think it's to, like you're saying, to round it out and maybe to bring it close to the episode. It's like this world of content creation, the VoskCoin brand being built from the ground up as an online brand. It's like it's very strange because you are quite literally in the name, like you are the product. You are, if YouTube is the bakery, like you are the baked good that people must come in and
I'm
take,
the bread, baby.
and they will like feedback. They'll say like, this bread is shit, this bread
Yeah.
is old, or this bread was
Oh,
really good. Yeah,
hey.
sorry. And so, it's a weird thing where it's like in business, you can build a product, you can build your business, and the product is the shitty thing, or the product is the great thing. But in content, it's like you're that product. So by them critiquing and bringing up these things, it's like you are being attacked almost, often very deliberately, like they are attacking you as a person, and maybe your views, like you were saying, by taking a stand, by having a backbone in something, you automatically come up against others who have their own camps, their own tribes, their own school of thought. And I think crypto is really crippled actually by that mentality, maybe predominantly because it is a male run industry. Maybe it's something that is just par for the course. But I feel it really cripples the industry. And I think I've seen it in the comments. Like you'll speak about a coin and it'll incite the whole community to like come and latch on. And it's very strange because I come from a space where that's not something that
it,
happens.
it's tribalistic, and I think it's rooted in, you know, males are just inherently more tribalistic. Of like, this is my tribe, screw your tribe, I'm gonna kill you, you know, and then take your stuff. It goes back and way beyond us. But really, I think it's really rooted in money. It's your coin can't be good because I have this coin and my
Yeah,
coin's better. So your coin sucks. But do you really believe that, or are you really just so selfishly rooted in the fact that like you have invested into this and you
yeah,
want it to succeed because you just want more money and more dollars or whatever? Um, so that's a whole video in itself, but it's, there's way too much, tribalistic inner crypto wars as opposed to lifting the whole space up. Like we're already fighting the governments around the world. Like, can we please unite internally? That's if you're not a scam, join the good guys. Join the
yeah,
the pro crypto team. It's ridiculous. Even saying crypto is offensive to the super hard Bitcoiners. I'm a big Bitcoin guy, but like, dude, chill out. Like a lot of these other cryptos are like very cool, very
yeah,
impressive, very useful. But to one other thing is, you had a really good example talking about like the product, right? And it's weird, like when you do content creation, like you said, like you become the product. I think of like the video as the product,
mm,
but it's just not really true. Like the video is the product, but like I'm a piece of the video. Like I am part of the video. I am the video in a way. So
yeah,
it's like, oh, iPhone sucks. So it's got like, give me that arachnophobia on the back with all those cameras. It's creepy, right? And it's like, oh, people at Apple, maybe the guy on the camera division, he's upset, but everybody else doesn't really care. It's not like saying, hey, like you're ugly.
yeah,
Oh, why does that even matter? you know, but like you said, it's they talk about me, they talk about how I look, they talk about the way I speak, they talk about what I'm doing, they criticize, well, why don't you do this instead, or like, it's dumb you bought that, you should have just bought this. Well, it's like, bro, I bought that because I wanted to buy that.
yeah,
That's why I bought that, and I made the video about like me buying that because I wanted it. Like like it's just funny. There's a group of people who they they basically just think everything I've ever done is dumb, and I should have just taken whatever money I was able to ever get from anywhere and just bought Bitcoin with it. Maybe I'd be further ahead, and maybe they're right. But I tell you what, it'd be boring.
yeah.
It'd be boring.
And it's not who you are. And I think actually to fully encapsulate the example, it's almost like the video is actually the wrapper. The video contains the product, which is you. Like our subscribers are watching this. If you're this far into the video, we love you. But they're watching it for you. Like they're watching it for the personality, for that connection that you can kind of feel. And when I think about, even as a consumer myself, the content that I consume on YouTube and on social media, I often find myself clicking a creator's video, not because of the thumbnail, but because of the person behind that channel. And I think that's when you genuinely like have the people who can, create change. Like our community could really do a lot of change in, the sphere by being a positive influence, by, taking things that you even suggest and running with it, because people are, connected to us and to the brand of VoskCoin, which at its core is Vosk, like the dude who sits behind the camera, who talks and makes, sometimes good jokes. Just kidding. just kidding.
Nah,
um, but yeah, I think it's very interesting. It's a really interesting facet of the content space, and it's something that I've learned a lot seeing, having worked with you. Just how, even as a viewer, I genuinely watch our content not because of the thumbnail, but I watch it because I want to see, how you interact with the topic that is being spoken about. And it's very cool. And I think that, like I said, if someone is already this far in the video, definitely they kind of form part of the core fan base that very likely shares those sentiments.
Yeah, and to round out the video as we close it out, because we definitely went longer than we talked about going. The goal, the target was 1 hour max, right? But here we are, going towards 1.5. But it's a fun, simple metric when you look at average watch time. If someone, or you in this case, is still watching this video, hopefully you like it, you enjoyed it, and like you've been engaged or tuned in, and you're just finding value or entertainment, or hopefully both, in the content. Or you're sitting here fuming and writing a mean comment and you're still here. It's also that. But not really, that's unlikely. Actually, most negative comments are formed within the first 2 minutes of a video. I don't have data to back that up, but if I look at what they say, oftentimes a lot of negative comments, what they're crying about in the comments is addressed at some point later in the video, because I actively think about the rebuttals. I actively think about, okay, well, like this and this, but like, why is it bad? I'm never here to make a video that's one-sided. It's good, 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 good. Well, what's bad about it? Or what went wrong for me? Or what's like, not a disclaimer or a disclosure, but like something I really need to like illustrate. Like, okay, like all this looks really good. We've been talking about that, but don't forget there's a halving, right? There's a halving, which means make us half as much money or have as many coins in, say 8 months, if nothing else changed, right? Like things like that are oftentimes addressed just whenever they, they flow into the video. But anyway, my point, I'm getting off topic. My real point here being is, if you're still here watching this, you're probably, what I consider, incredible and the best of the best. And like, you enjoy the content, you're a big supporter. And, I'm not just doing like some, PR, lame, fake YouTuber stuff. Like, I really appreciate you all who stay and watch the videos to this length, because one, it just means you like this stuff. Two, it really helps the video metrics, and the video metrics are what fuel the YouTube algorithm. And basically, if everyone showed up and everyone watched the video all the way through, YouTube's gonna be like, wow, this must be an incredible video. And then they're gonna suggest it to people that have never seen our content, because the people that regularly watch our content are voting with their eyes, saying that this is good content. And then YouTube's like, whoa, this is good. More people should see it. More people want to watch this. At the end of the day, YouTube serves their subscribers, their users, just by giving them videos that by their algorithm think it is good, that they want to watch. So it's a trickle down thing. But I mean, that's the gist of it. It's interesting to be like, everything we've run through today, Brynn. We're always so focused on crypto, but to take a step back and really focus on a key thing that we do is video creation, content creation, and we tie it into our sector, but there is so much unrelated to cryptocurrency like on this front that we do.
Yeah.
So, but I could talk all day. I guess that's why I do this. I don't know if I was like this before, or doing this stuff made me like this.
You'll never
I
know.
don't know. But sometimes I do notice some days I'm like I just have so much stuff going through my brain just constantly. That's why I barely sleep. And sometimes I notice I'm just like pouring all this stuff on Alexa, and she just starts to be like, "Oh, stop."
Stop.
And I just like I'm like blah, 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 all these ideas and BS, and she's like, "Let's just not talk for like 30 minutes." And I'm like, all right, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. So
Yeah.
on that note, Brenna, I'm gonna head out. What's the last closing comment you've got for everybody? Because I talk too much. Um,
I,
what's your takeaway? You got some dog dad advice for the squad? I mean, what's
yeah, man. I think stick around. There's big things coming, and as always, we have to plug the CEO so that she can
the
be
one and only
she can be represented. So we
the
got to
CPO, the
run
chief podcast officer?
Hey, our CPO, she gets all the titles. She runs she runs the show. But yeah, if you're still sticking around, stick around for more. Like definitely uh, look forward to the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years with VoskCoin. Hopefully we'll be scaling and continuing to grow the business even from the subscribers like we have been. And I think that's something that still is really cool for me. Is like the entire business is built around subscribers. Like each one of the team members were subscribers, and I think it really shows and stands as a testament to how important the community is.
I do think that's really cool, and that's like something I'm so proud of. And such an incredible fun fact is everyone on the team was born out of our subscriber base, and like I think that's why, you know, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I think that's why a lot of our content is better than our competitors. Outsourcing video editing and things like that versus like not only having someone crypto native, but someone like born out of like your content that likes it. I think that's why we're fortunate that everyone was naturally passionate about what they do. I mean, it's so cool. It's so cool. But we're approaching 1:30. When we stop the outro on there, we're gonna be close. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. That's all I got. Above all, if you're still here, I want to ask you: do you want to see more videos like this, or do you not? Constructive criticism, okay? I don't need to know that my hair sucks. I need to know should we do more videos like this. So, see you later.